Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. This is Abdul Ghaffar Abbasi here. Today we will discuss the chapter number 2, states of matter, topic number 1, that is the kinetic theory of solids, liquids and gases, kinetic molecular theory. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. These are the contents of the chapter, what we will discuss in the chapter number 2. Number 1, today's topic is the kinetic theory. Then we will discuss the gases state, and then in the gases state, very important topic is the gas laws. These are the different gas laws which we will discuss in detail. Then we will discuss the liquid state, and then at the end we will discuss the solid state, and along with the solid state we will discuss the some subtopics related to the solid state. So today we will discuss the kinetic molecular theory of gases. Introduction. First of all, we have to give the introduction, then we will discuss the main postulates of the kinetic theory. So as I told you that in our board paper, in our board exam, we have to give headings and subheadings. This theory is so named because it deals with that property of the particles which is very important in understanding the three states of matter. It is very much clear that the kinetic molecular theory is not only related for the gases, but it is also extended to explain the behavior of liquids and solids also. This property is the motion of the particles. They are in constant motion, and they possess the kinetic energy, which tends to keep the particles well spaced out in any substance. So in this the main postulates, we will discuss in detail the movement of the particles in three states of matter, and then as a result what are the properties of the liquids and solids. Now main postulates of the kinetic theory are mentioned as under. Number 1 is that the gases state is the one in which the molecules are widely separated from one another but having negligible volume. The gases are easy to compress as they have large vacant spaces, empty spaces between their particles. That is the reason we can compress them by applying the pressure. Second point is that the gas molecules are in constant motion, traveling in straight paths between collisions but in random direction. The average distance between collisions is the mean free path. Look at this diagram. These are the gas molecules which are moving here and there. They are randomly moving, and the particles are moving in this container, and then they collide with one another, and then they also collide with the walls of this container. So they exert the gas pressure, which we will discuss in the next point. So now the molecules collide with the one another and with the walls of the container, but these collisions are perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic means when they collide with one another, there is no loss of the energy. They are elastic. There is no loss of energy. Fourth property is that fourth main postulate is that gas pressure is the result of the collisions of the gas molecules with the walls of container. As I told you that when they collide with the walls of the container, they exert the pressure, and that pressure is called as the gas pressure. In an ideal gas, there are no attractive or repulsive forces between molecules. Thus each molecule acts quite independently of others. This is the point related to the ideal gas, not related to the gases which are in our environment. Their behavior is quite different as compared to the gases. We will discuss this ideal gas in our upcoming videos, that what is the ideal gas and what is the difference and what are the properties and what are the examples. So here only we have to discuss that an ideal gas has no attractive or repulsive forces between their molecules, and then if there are no attractive and repulsive forces, thus each molecule acts quite independently of the others. Sixth property is related to these 6 points. Postulates are entirely related to the gas particles. The average kinetic energy of gas molecules depends upon the absolute temperature. At any given temperature, the molecules of all gases have the same kinetic energy, that is 1 upon 2 mv square. This is a formula of the kinetic energy. Now the kinetic theory is also determining the behavior of the liquids and solids also. Now let's look at the behavior. We are discussing the behavior of liquids and solids. This is the diagram which I have shown related to the properties of gases. Now for liquids the kinetic theory suggests that the particles of liquid are fairly randomly arranged but consist of the clusters in which they are very close together. When we compare the molecules of the liquids and gases are widely separated from one another, but liquids are, we can say that they are near to one another, and there are less vacant spaces when you compare the liquid particles with gases. Like this is the diagram related to liquid particle. Like this, we can say this is the liquid particles in liquid, and this is the particles in gas. They are widely separated from one another. This is the diagram related to gas, and this is related to liquid. But okay, now this is the reason. This makes the liquid have the definite volume, but since the particles are still fairly free to move, so it does not have any definite shape of its own. It takes the shape of the container. These are the main points related to the liquid. Now we are discussing the third state of matter, that is solid. For solids, the kinetic theory suggests that the particles of solids are very closely packed with one another, tightly packed with one another. Like this is the solid particles. They are in this way tightly packed with one another. So that the forces of attraction between molecules are very strong, and free movement of the particles cannot take place. They cannot free, but they can vibrate, right? Thus in a solid, the particles are arranged in a fixed pattern, and they form a lattice of vibrating masses. Then this makes a solid have a definite shape and definite volume. So these are the points related to the kinetic particle theory related to the gas molecules, liquid molecules and solids. I hope you understood this topic. In the next upcoming videos we will discuss the further topics related to the chapter number 2. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.